Magandang Baguio, a pleasant morning to everyone in Ilocano, naimbag nga bigat tayo amin. I am Nicole and I will be your cutie tour guide for today. On behalf of Ricky Travel and Tours, I'd like to welcome you to the beautiful city of Pines, the honeymoon haven of the North, the city lights, UNESCO's creative city, and the summer capital of the Philippines, Baguio City. Baguio City serves as the gateway of the Cordilleras, approximately 250 kilometers away from Manila, and the city is one of the landlocked regions in the country, the Cordillera Administrative Region. The area of the city is 49 square kilometers enclosed in a perimeter of 30 kilometers. All sides of the city is bounded by its different municipalities. On the north, by the capital town of La Trinidad, on the east by Itogon, and to the south and west by Tuba. The city is at 5,200 feet or 1,540 meters above sea level, wherein Baguio has a tropical climate. It has two seasons, the wet and dry seasons, wherein the dry seasons begin in November and ends in April, while the wet seasons begins in May to October. The average annual temperature in Baguio is 20.6 degrees Celsius or 69.0 degrees Fahrenheit, but it can be 10 degrees cooler at times. Don't you know that the lowest temperature reading was 6.27 degrees Celsius, which was recorded in January 18, 1961? In the previous years, Baguio has experienced a temperature drop to as low as 7.3 degrees Celsius in 2017. As of 2020 census, Baguio has a population of 366,358. Baguio is politically subdivided into 129 barangays with Honorable Benjamin Magalong as the city mayor. One of the most popular events in the city is the Panagbanga or Flower Festival held during February. It lasts over a month long and flourishes through community spirit involvement. The Sangguniang Panglunsod ng Baguio is the legislative branch of the city government of Baguio, mandated to enact ordinances, approve resolutions, and appropriate funds for the general welfare of the city and its inhabitants. Strawberries and vegetables are among the products which Baguio City is proud of. This is because of myriad of plants and fresh vegetables such as cabbages and various flowers easily grow in the mild climate of the city. To give you an idea how rich the city is in history and heritage, I will be sharing to you the humble beginnings. The area now known as Baguio was first called Capaguay, which was occupied by the indigenous Kankanays and Ibaloy people. It used to be a vast mountain region with thick forests, various wildlife such as cloud rats, Philippine eagle, deers, black wild pigs, and numerous species of floras. This was a hunting ground for indigenous peoples, notably the Ibaloys and other highland ethnic groups. During the 15th and 14th centuries, it was under the domination of the Kingdom of Tondo until it came back to a normal state followed by the local indigenous people and government. During the 16th century, when the Spanish arrived in the Philippines, the area was never fully occupied by Spain due to the intensive defense tactics and ideas of the native in the region. During their occupation of the Philippines, the Spanish colonizers conducted a series of expeditions led by Juan Salcedo in 1572 and Don Q.M. Corante in 1694 to the cool mountains of Benguet. One of the most notable contributions of the Spanish era was the introduction of coffee, of the Arabica variety, which is still grown in the area and known as Benguet coffee. When the Americans arrived in Baguio, after Spain ceded the entire Philippine Islands to the United States of America for $20,000, they found the pine-covered hills and the cool heights ideal for retreats from the sweltering heat of the lowlands. The mountains surrounding Cannon were mined with camps erected from the base to the plateau that Baguio sits on. In 1903, Camp John Hay was developed for the rest and recreation of the U.S. Armed Forces. Baguio City was designed by premier American architecture and urban planner Daniel H. Burnham, who was also the master planner of Chicago's One Magnificent Mile and Manila's Rojas Boulevard. On September 9, 1909, Baguio was declared as a chartered city and the summer capital of the Philippines, with the mansion as the residence of the American Governor General during the summer to escape Manila's heat. The Philippine Commission held its session in Baguio City, in the area on top of what is now known as Session Road. The World War II in the Philippines started and ended in Baguio. It began with the first Japanese overt aerial raid over Camp John Hay hours after the bombing of Pearl Harbor in Hawaii on December 8, 1941. On December 27 of the same year, the Japanese Imperial Forces occupied Baguio City and used Camp John Hay as their military base. However, the war eventually changed course and on September 3, 1945, General Yamashita formally surrendered to the Americans at the U.S. Ambassador's residence in Camp John Hay, after which Baguio immediately set to the task of rehabilitation. When the Philippines was granted independence in 1946, Baguio City resumed its role as the summer capital of the Philippines, with Camp John Hay being retained by the Americans under the RP-US Bases Agreement. Most of the prime property in Baguio is owned by the national government, such as Cabinet Hill, Engineers Hill, Supreme Court Compound, Court of Appeals Compound, and Comelec Compound. Baguio was the Philippines' top tourist destination from 1946 until July 16 of 1990, when a 7.7 magnitude earthquake hit the city, after which it was rebuilt quickly and all traces of the devastation was removed. The massive 7.7 magnitude earthquake that struck Luzon Island in the Philippines on July 16, 1990, wreaked havoc across a sizable portion of Luzon, the country's largest island, with Baguio City suffering the most devastating effects. All types of buildings, including several resort hotels, suffered tremendous damage. Most of the city's 100,000 residents slept outdoor that evening and during the following week because they are afraid to return to their homes amidst the frequent aftershocks. For days, several workers pulled bodies from the demolished buildings in Baguio. Rescue efforts were hampered severely because the three main roads into the city were blocked by landslides. The earthquake left not just massive damage and casualties, but also lessons about disaster readiness. Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology Director Dr. Renato Solidum said the 1990 earthquake left four valuable lessons. First, the public needs to respond properly during earthquakes. Second, hazards and their effects should be simulated. Third, building codes should be implemented properly, and fourth, land use should be carefully planned. As of the moment, we are in the lobby of La Casa Bianca, known for its exceptional services and a home away from home. La Casa Bianca is an accommodation facility with 7 furnished rooms with complimentary toiletries and complete facilities. This hotel is one of the best hotels in Baguio City. I hope you will enjoy today's tour and the rest of your stay in Baguio. So shall we start the tour now?